Good morning and welcome to a session of Fit for Life. My name is Andrew Goodshead and I'm the Deputy Manager for Patient and Family Services here at St Christopher's, and I've also worked as the Chaplain here at St Christopher's for many years. As part of Fit for Life, you will have thought about lots of different themes to give you an opportunity to think and spend time considering what the future looks like for you. Some of them very practical around exercise, some of them more about issues to do with welfare or other things that are quite useful to you in that sense. But also, of course, there are issues which are about your meaning and your purpose. Some would say spiritual issues or religious issues, how you make sense of life in the context of yourself or in the context of a belief in a God or some deity. I want to spend just a few moments in this session of Fit for Life thinking about meaning, and you'll see two slides that I've put together to help us think about how we might address the idea of meaning into the future. I'm sure that for a long time, meaning has been wrapped up a lot in the sense of being a patient, going to hospital appointments, having treatment, seeing consultants and other people, all of whom who have given you information and more or less led you on a journey, rather than enabling you to make a journey for yourself. As the future opens up for you, your meaning and the way in which you can make sense of the world changes. So your spiritual life will change. You might engage with others differently. You might seek to engage with the world differently. And so it is as you re-enter a different phase of life, and yet part of the whole of your life. Some of these two slides might just be useful in helping you do that. And I want to concentrate them on a single person's work, a man called Viktor Frankl. He was Austrian and he worked as a neurologist and a psychiatrist, and he was a Jewish man. In 1942, as you can see on the slide in front of you, he was deported to Theresienstadt with his wife and with his parents. In 1944, he was then taken to Auschwitz and he spent the rest of the war in concentration camps. He was separated from his family and he never saw any of them again. He subsequently, after the war, became a humanistic psychologist, moved to America and began all kinds of different work in America to help think through issues around meaning and purpose and psychological ways in which people can be helped through their life, to make decisions, to move forwards. For Frankl, the experience of being in a concentration camp in such a difficult place, in an incarcerated place, gave him time, because of his background, to think and to study or see those around him and to interact with them, to find out how together and alone they made sense of their life at that time. And Viktor Frankl came up with these three ways of doing it. He said that there are three means by which we make meaning through our life. First of all, by things that we do, creating a work or a deed. Secondly, by the people that we meet, experiencing something or encountering someone. And thirdly, the attitude that we take towards the circumstances that we face, as he put it, unavoidable suffering. He was very clear in his writing, in a very small book called Man's Search for Meaning, that we are, as human beings, able to choose our attitude in any given set of circumstances. And that's why I feel that some of his work is helpful as you are in this Fit for Life course and beginning to take time to look at a bigger life, a way in which your world is no longer constrained by hospital appointments or by treatment, but actually you are making new choices, you are coming to fresh decisions, you are finding ways in which you can engage with yourself, with those around you whom you love, with your social circle, with employers, and with the world in general in a different way. It may be now for you that creating a work or a deed is important, and going back to work or finding work for the first time after a period of being off work is a way in which you can give a new meaning to your life. Colleagueship, an opportunity to have a routine in work, all kinds of things which are really simple for those who day to day are at their employment, but which for people starting work again can be very hard. And even if the job that you might take up is not that which you would want to have to start with, being able to feel that you have been useful, I can't think of a better word than that, at the end of each day, is a way of giving meaning to your life. Secondly, of course, it's the way in which you experience other people. Relationships, I'm sure, in the past few months or years have been different, because very often you might have been taken to appointments, you might have been accompanied to things, and now you're making choices for yourself. And in doing that, you are finding that you are encountering other people differently. You are now more autonomous, perhaps. You're making decisions about where you would like to be, what you would like to do, even if that is something as simple as walking to the corner shop or going to a supermarket or taking time out to meet a friend in the city centre, wherever it might be. But in all of that, experiencing people differently makes such a huge change to your life. Not talking about what is in terms of illness or disease, but talking about plans and hopes, thinking about a future, sharing those hopes with other people. And then, of course, taking an attitude towards unavoidable suffering. And this may be the most difficult of all those three aspects of his work. Throughout all our lives, there are things that happen to us that we would rather not happen. Things which leave us feeling bereft or sad, leave us wondering, why me? Leave us sometimes feeling hopeless. And I can't possibly even begin to imagine what it might be that you have experienced in the last weeks or months or years. Undoubtedly, there has been unavoidable things in your life which you would rather have avoided. That's not a question. But now, of course, you're able to leave some of those things behind and take a look into your life at the meaning of how that unavoidable suffering has affected you. What has it done for you as a person? Has it made you more empathic towards other people? Has it given you a sense of compassion to others? Has it helped you understand when others talk about illness or when others speak about how they are, you feel for them a real sense of wanting to be with them and just help them with it and in it. And that doesn't mean that, like the man who digs a hole and then can't get out, you have to get in the hole and experience what it's like to be in a hole. It's rather more that you are waiting and listening and seeking to try and journey with someone to help them out of the hole. Meaning is a really important part of all our lives. Day to day, we make decisions that give meaning to every aspect of our life. I'm not necessarily talking about what we have for breakfast or whether we'll go to the shop today, but things which come to us that help us think about what matters to us. Our family, our friends, the broader social world that we have, the communities that we are a part of, our faith, if we have a faith. And we have to spend time as we come to a point of change, thinking about those things which really matter. And that's why I would encourage you just to hold on to these three simple things: creating a work or deed, doing things, whatever that might be. And that could be gardening as much as going out to work, experiencing something or encountering someone. And that might be finding a new friend, meeting someone who knows nothing of your backstory, with whom you can build a friendship that has a sense of newness to it. Or taking an attitude towards something that has happened which you couldn't possibly help. In Frankl's terms, unavoidable suffering. And so in that, what I would suggest is that you reflect on the past, you think about what it has done for you, how it has left you, what it means for you to have been through that, and whether there is anything from it that you would want to help others in. And a very simple example are the number of people who go through various treatments who then want to volunteer to support others who are going through the same thing or similar things, because the experience that you will have had is very often invaluable to those who are going through it at the time, who aren't always able to see that there might be, and there is, a future, a way in which meaning can be made beyond all of today. But finally, I want to really enforce or reinforce Frankl's final point, that we are able to choose our attitude in any given set of circumstances. Psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, we are able to make decisions that mean that we are autonomous men and women. And I'd encourage you to find ways in which you are able to make meaning every day. Simple things, complex things. But don't hold on to the possibility that meaning is a deep and rooted part of who you are. And in the meaning in your life, you can find purpose, and you can simply find a way to make your journey into the future hopeful and meaningful on your own and with others. Thank you.